Hello, today we'll be covering the newest DockYard ship, the Tier 10 Pan-Asian Lushun. The Lushun is the 35th and final award of her DockYard event. 30 phases can be completed for free through missions, which can be completed over time as more missions unlock. Players must buy a minimum of 5 phases to obtain the ship, which is at least 7k doubloons. A starter pack with 11 phases is also available, and players can also spend 1500 doubloons per stage if they want to rush the ship. Any DockYard tokens obtained after earning the ship will give the player an additional 250 steel instead, which is pretty nice. Even if you don't plan on getting the Lushun, the DockYard rewards are quite nice, so complete as many missions as you can. Anyways, I will be showing my captain skill, followed by a brief description and my thoughts on her. So first, my captain skill build will be shown on the top right, so you guys can pause the video anytime to take a look at that as it goes along. I would recommend taking radio location since the ship has great concealment and great DPM, so it can be great to hunt torpedo DDs. If you don't want to take radio location, you can take Fearless Sprawler instead. Lüshun combines the hull and guns of a Russian DD with the Loyang's hydro and Sevastopol's long-acting heel. It's a very much Frankenstein DD. It's pretty crazy with how much is put in this ship. With a 60-second heal and respectable HP pool, Lüshun can take quite a beating before going down. However, her lack of smoke and unimpressive speed means she can't dodge those attacks, so choose your engagements carefully. Thankfully, your guns are quite impressive, and the dispersion will be shown on the top right. Literally Russian ballistics with an amazing DPM combined with her 5.8 kilometer concealment. The Lüshun will terrorize other DDs in gunfights. Against DDs she can't fight, you can still stay hidden and let your allies do the work. The AP is also quite impressive for doing citadels on lightly armored cruisers like Minotaurs, Boosters, and Genomes. Just be careful though when you're getting close. Remember, you have no speed boost, so you can't dodge your way out of trouble. At least you do have the amazing 5.5 kilometer hydro, great for dodging torpedoes, and sometimes you can even rush enemy DDs in smoke if you time it correctly, as you can see in the video right now. Lüshun gets 11 kilometer deep water torpedoes, which is actually quite good for a gunboat. You can't hit DDs though, but their 18k alpha cripple larger ships if they aren't careful. And finally, we don't talk about her ASW or AA, it just doesn't exist. The ASW is very, very poor with a max damage of 1200 per depth charge. You do get a lot of depth charges though, but as I was recording these videos, trying to get a replay, and during the past few streams when I was playing this ship, I hit over 20 depth charges onto a submarine, and it took 20 to kill it. It took 20 depth charges to kill a submarine that was right next to me. It was painful. So yes, you can hunt submarines with this thing, but the problem is it's going to take a very long time to be able to kill them, so be aware of that. The anti-air, you do have good range on the anti-air, but the main problem is that you don't have a lot of continuous damage and you don't have a lot of flak. So even tier 8 carriers, I was being harassed by a Kaga in one game, and it just kept coming back over and over and over and over, and there really wasn't much I could do because I don't have smoke, I'm not very quick, and the anti-air is very poor. So it just kept coming back and slapping me over and over until I was dead pretty much. So it was definitely a fun and engaging experience. Now with all those negatives though, I do believe overall I find Lüshun to be strong, though somewhat hard to play even by DD standards. While you do have a heal, Lüshun won't last long due to her poor dodging abilities. You have to definitely be picky with your engagements and only take isolated engagements when possible. Excellent concealment makes this possible, and you can still apply spotting pressure even if you can't safely attack. Focus on killing DDs. Once dead, you can safely gunboat bigger ships or take the caps. Remember, your torpedoes cannot hit DDs or subs, so save them for bigger ships. The Lüshun is no Smaland, but she does well in ranked against hordes of Shimakazes, thinking a lucky torpedo will win the game. She also does quite impressive in randoms, as she can gun against other gunboats or outspot them depending upon the situation. Lüshun may also see use in clan battles due to her excellent concealment and hydro. However, she is quite easy to hit, so she isn't a clear choice over other ships. Now again, starting from today, you'll be able to start working on the DockYard ship, the Lushun, currently in the armory for about the next 2-3 months or so, normally on how long it normally goes. Again, there are 35 DockYard stages. 30 phases can be completed for free through missions, and they unlock over time for those missions. So there's always stages, about 7 stages, so there's about 7 weeks they'll be going on. And there's 5 phases you have to buy at minimum to be able to obtain the ship. So if you do all the missions, to be able to get each of the phases, and you buy the 5 phases, which costs 7k doubloons, you will be able to get her for the 7k doubloons, which I think is around 35 bucks around there, 35 bucks. So it's a pretty good deal for a tier 10 DD. I think it's a pretty good deal. A lot of people, what are they doing, including me? I'm buying the 11 phases and the 5 phases. I am buying both so that I can get extra steel, because when you go past the mission, so you do all the missions and then you pretty much get the ship, all the extras it's pretty much just extra steel. And as you just saw in the armory, they just removed all the clan tokens and the rank tokens given the steel. So there's a bunch of steel camos that are now available. Really cool steel camos, which are super nice. And if you go in the armory, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about. It's really, really cool, and I definitely suggest you guys taking a look at them. Now again, the reason why I go with the RPF and the range mod, the range skill on this particular ship, is the fact that RPF is really good for hunting down torpedo DDs, and the range makes it where you can shoot past the kind of like the radar mark, because the range without the skill is around 12.4, 12.5, I believe, which is right around that radar distance, so it's pretty dangerous. But if you want to go further out, you can farm further away, and the shells also have really good velocity, which makes it a lot easier to farm really far distances. Now, of course, people are like, oh, why don't you take the module instead? Well, if you take the skill, the range skill, you get a little bit more range. And if you take the reload module, you get a little bit extra module. So it's better to take the module for the reload always, and it's better to take the range in the skill, because you get a little bit extra range that way, and you get a little bit extra reload in the modules, and that's for the particular reason why. The only times I had severe issues with the Lüshun was when I was dealing with a CV. If you're having to deal with a CV in a match, you're going to be having pretty much a living hell. You have to retreat back to your team to help get the anti-air support, because if you don't, you're going to suffer, you're going to die, you're not going to have fun, and you're just going to have a very fun and engaging experience trying to dodge all those CV strikes. I was even bullied by tier 8 CVs, which it's not fun at all. It's not a very fun experience, but yeah. This ship, though, does have a lot of strengths. Now, the AP, I do love using AP on this thing. If any DD, it doesn't have short fuse AP or anything, but if you fight a DD that just starts angling to you, the AP will start arming, and it will do a lot of damage, and it's super nice. So normally you would just want to use HE, and then if they start angling to you, or angling away or towards you, you can switch that AP real quick to get a nice few good salvos in of like 3K, which is it does a lot of damage. It's just super nice. It's just mwah, super nice. The deep water torpedoes also are really good for hitting cruisers and battleships without hydro. The deep waters, of course, you already know, they have a very small detection range. So whenever they are, you know, pretty much when you're launching them and such, it's way harder for them to be able to be spotted by the enemy. So it's really nice to be able to hit, just to get that, you get them to DCP either the fire, you get on them first, and you send in the torpedoes to get flood damage, or you can launch torpedoes and do shooting, and so they have to DCP one or the other, so you can get fire damage and flooding, or one or the other. So it kind of depends there. But overall, I do enjoy playing the Lüshun. I almost always recommend DockYard ships, for one, for the rewards, or two, for the fact that it's really cheap. And since I said again, the ship is pretty cheap and is a tier 10D, which is it's going to be pretty strong in ranked. It's going to be pretty strong in clan battles. I don't 100%. It's going to be strong in clan battles, but I don't know if it's going to be a meta ship, but it'll definitely be tried out in clan battles. With this upcoming season of clan battles having a 1 BB limit and having super ships in it, oh boy, oh man, that is going to be a really fun season. Ugh. I don't remember if it's going to be like a one, no, it's a two super ship limit, I believe, with one battleship. So I'm definitely thinking that one of the slots is definitely for the super ship is definitely going to be a cruiser, and some teams may want to have their BB being the super ship, or they may want to have the DD having one of their DDs being the super ship slot, because who doesn't want to fight a Zorky? Good lord, man, Zorkies are absolute monsters of DDs. They are the actual they're so sucking little monsters. I hate fighting. I think out of all the DDs in the game to fight, like as like a battleship or a cruiser, I think Zorky is one of the most painful DDs to actually fight. I don't know if you, I want you guys' opinion on this. What is the most painful DD you guys have trouble fighting with? That's what is the most painful? I know Zorkies are super painful. Banhams are. Jaegers are actually starting to be extremely painful, just due to the fact that they just launched so many torpedoes. Same with Benham. They're just so painful. They're so incredibly painful to fight. 100%. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. If you guys have any questions or concerns, definitely let me know in the comments down below. I definitely try to put some emphasis in this video on, I try to put some emphasis on the video on, gosh, I can't even talk right now. On just I don't know, being able to read the script better, or, you know, stuff like that. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Again, I did enjoy playing the Lüshun. I did find it a lot of fun to play. Over time, I feel like people will get used to the Lüshun gimmick of it having a 5.5 kilometer hydro, and the fact you're able to push in at people. Because a lot of the times, as you saw earlier, I had a lot of highlight sections where I was able to push into DDs, catch them off guard, get that kill, back out. You can really throw people off with it, but I feel like in a few months, people are going to understand that meta. They're going to understand what's going on, and they're not going to be fooled by it that much. They're not going to be fooled by it that much. So we'll have to wait and see whenever the time comes for that. Because I remember back when like the Schlieffen first came into the game, same thing. At first, people were just getting absolutely slaughtered by it. And over time, people got used to it, and then they figured out how to counter it. and it's a lot harder to push too much sleeve than it was before. But yep, that's going to be it for the day. Thank you all for watching. I will talk to y'all later. This is Overlord Bo, and blah!